Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be. So, I've been anticipating this figure for a couple of weeks. I don't know if I've got my camera high enough here. I may need to raise it up. Yeah, let's raise that a bit. This is the, I don't know if you call it the original Iron Spider, but it's Iron Spider from the comics. And there has been several stories of this red and gold Iron Spider. He's in a video game too, so I think he fits, even though he's not, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that kind of seems to be where most of my collection lies. But I mean, this just looks so great. I couldn't help but picking it up when I seen it. So let's get it out of the Big Bad Toy Store box here. And it is for sale at Big Bad Toy Store for $299.99. They have them available right now to ship to you, so you don't have to wait for it. Of course, here's the little advertisement that they have. There. And from my understanding, this is die cast. Some of this is die cast. So, by a company called Sentinel, they make a lot of re-edit stuff. So they make a lot of Iron Man as well, which I've never bought any of those. But it is what they do. It's kind of like, normally when I'm looking at their Iron Man stuff, it's like, in my opinion, a reimagination of what the suit could or would be, if that makes any sense. So let's go from there and see what happens. Noble, how's it going, man? Welcome, welcome. Robert, how's it going, my friend? Let's see, what's this? So there's the front of the box, and there's the back of the box. And of course, the original Iron Spider, or the Iron Spider from the comics, he only had the 3 arms. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Spider-Man has the 4 arms, which kind of makes sense because the spider has 8 legs. Here's the inside artwork. Let's see what we've got going on here. This is a sleeve also? Nope, it's the front. Well, I tell you, he's nice and shiny. The gold on it is very shiny. Now, not shiny chrome like the Mark 21 chrome version, but it's not dull like the original Mark 21 is. So it's shiny, but it's not chrome. That's cool, because of course it gives the metal appearance. And this is 1/6 scale. So again, it should fit in with the rest of the figures. Here's the bottom package. What comes with that? Nice big diamond shaped figure stand. A little bit different Lobster Claw system here. But of course, I would imagine you could use the Hot Toys one if you wanted to, or whatever. I don't know if this is going to be the same size screw or not. We'll find out. Let's get him out of the box. No, he's still Tom Holland. Buzz, how's it going, man? Welcome to the channel. I can't tell if these are, you know what? I have a magnet someplace. Right here. I have a Deadpool magnet. Oh, come on. The magnet's not sticking to anything. And I thought this was supposed to be die cast. This is a magnet, right? Yeah, it's stuck right to Deadpool's head. Unless this is just a piece of metal and Deadpool's eyes are the magnet. No. Couldn't be that strong, could it? No, he's not sticking to nothing. The magnet's not sticking to anything. It's one of Deadpool's eyes, and we know those are magnetized, right? Yeah. Right? Or is it his head that's magnetized? Jeez. I'm starting to feel really stupid right now. I don't think any of this is die cast at all. Now the eye sticks to this, and neither one of them are sticking to anything. So I don't know what to say. I mean, it sounds metal. So if it is, it's not magnetized metal like aluminum. Why would they do that? It feels like aluminum. It feels very solid. But definitely no magnetization anywhere. That sounds like metal. That doesn't sound like plastic. I don't know what to tell you. I'm perplexed. Any of you geniuses have any idea? I did not see the new Avengers trailer, and I will not see the new Avengers trailer because I want to be surprised. Too many times I've watched a trailer and then I'm like, well, I know all the movie now. And for Endgame, I definitely don't want to be any more spoiled, if you will, as to what's happening in the movie. I really want to be surprised in that movie. I mean, we waited 10 years for it, right? I get Deadpool's eye back in his head. I'll have to mess with that later, but the shot. Rocket and War Machine. What a combo. And James Gunn is, yes, James Gunn is back. Thank you. I'm glad to have him back. Doing kit bashes lately a ton while in Tom Welling, Smallville, right? Yeah, I'm happy to see James Gunn is back. And I think, isn't Sean Gunn his brother, the guy that was like Yondu's right-hand man, the guy that took over the, trying to control the Arrow after Yondu's death? I'm pretty sure that's his brother. And I'm also pretty sure, and I may be wrong, he's the one that actually wears the rocket suit for the filming of the movies. I think his name is Sean Gunn, isn't it? You guys know? Alright, so he looks a little skinny, if that makes any sense. Spider-Man's a skinny guy in the first place. Let's compare him to the Hot Toys Iron Spider. Obviously, you know, two different figures all together. I mean, no way are we talking about a similar figure under any circumstances. But similarly named. Wasn't there a wasn't there somebody else that's also wearing this suit? Cho? I guess it's Cho, something like that. So he's definitely skinnier. And I don't know what I think about that. It's almost a girlish body in the width of the shoulders, um, and the size, or a very young kid. I wonder if this could be put onto a Hot Toys body. You know what I mean? Trying to make two figures stand up at the same time. Very dangerous. Let's see. Let's get one standing up first. Then deal with the other. There we go. Um, you know, I betcha. Jeez, I don't know if I'd want to take this apart, but I'm willing to bet that if it really bugged me, I mean a lot, it might. So this is like a plastic suit, like Deadpool is. It's not cloth. And so I imagine that if I really wanted to, I could probably strip this off of this body and put it onto a Hot Toys body. I imagine the suit would stretch to fit over that. So if I get so absolutely aggravated with the shape or the size of this, I might do that. I doubt I would do that, but I might do that. It's open for discussion with my brain. I don't know if this metal piece would go on easily in that instance. That might be a problem. So that might be what would stop me from doing that. But I think that I don't know, maybe it's their style to make him super skinny. Maybe he's supposed to be super skinny in the comics. I don't know. It just kind of bothers me looking at it. Not much though, just a little bit. I'll probably forget about it shortly. But he's got good height, just a little bit shorter. But I don't know what to think about that either. Buzz, I think we will get some double releases of the in-game figures by Hot Toys as they all wear these white quantum realm suits. So the what I'm really scared of is they haven't announced any figures yet. The movie comes out April 29th, and normally we got something coming, from the first trailer. You know what I mean? There's been nothing. So I don't know how much more my wallet can stand. You know what I Don't think they will add additional suits as you would have to watch complete outfits, which is not common with Hot Toys releases. Right. For instance, like Hella. They literally could have given us two head sculpts, and they didn't. Or what's another one that has multiple suits? Well, I guess that's probably the one that's really kind of bothers me the most. Is I really wish that they had given us another head with her hair down, her long hair. That would have been perfect. Never got it. And they won't release another suit. I guarantee you we won't get another Hella. I guarantee that'll be the only Hella that we get. Hamsha Nur Utama Patra, hello. If I ever get a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, I'm putting him in a dance pose. Oh God, no, don't do that. Comic Spidey's nice, but I would always go for Hot Toys version. How much is the diecast one? This one is $299.99 from Big Bad Toy Store. You can buy it today and have them ship it out to you as soon as probably price like a car. As soon as you want it. He's good scale. I mean, he doesn't look out of scale. He just looks skinny. So let's continue moving on. Actually, yeah, let's move this guy out of the way. No, we'll just send him right here. Since I'm unfamiliar with this manufacturer, I'm not going to assume anything, and I'm going to open up the instruction manual to see what it says in regards to attaching these arms. I didn't have to open nothing. It's one page. Pull out the back, shove it on. Let's go over the hands first before I do that. So he's wearing 2/5. He comes with two of his I Love You Spider Shooter hands. I threw one of them on the floor. Amazing how when stuff hits the floor it flies who knows where. Jeez, I'll have to find that later. He comes with two of his kind of like wall crawling hands, you know, where they bend the fingers back almost in like a double jointed pose, which is kind of common with the Spider-Man. So it's nice to see that continued here. And the color on this is very red with orange. So, you know, when they make red, there's various shades of red. Sometimes they put blue in the red. Well, this has orange in the red. And we have two relaxed hands. So there's no real hand that is a web swinging hand. There's no grasping hand. There's these fists, but there's no hole in it to shove any webbing in. It didn't come with any webbing either. So literally, the swinging portion of him is not important or a thought process with this figure. Now I imagine, if you really wanted to, you could drill a hole in that hand and shove one of the webbings from any of your other Spider-Men, because Hot Toys has been using that same pack of webbing on all their Spider-Mans. So you can only pose so many different versions of the webbing coming out of there. So if you wanted to use that, I imagine if you just drilled a little hole in there, you could do that here, should you desire to have him doing any webbing. Same thing with you know, his little shooters here, because obviously that is exactly what he's doing here, is shooting his webbing. Nothing in the hands or here. Now I do see this little wrist gauntlet lifts up right there so that you can put on it a little bit more of an exaggerated, it's the wrong hand for this arm. Okay, so these hands are a little different. The wrist peg is a little weird. It's got a little hole. So it looks like the wrist peg only in different pieces. I wonder if a Hot Toys one will fit in there instead. You know what I mean? See what this looks like in here. See if this comes out. I'm not going to pull too hard because it might be the actual arm. I don't want to break it. I think, pretty sure that's the arm, and it doesn't feel like it wants to spin. So the spinning is definitely on the hand. So here's your little peg, the way they do it with the Sentinel re-edit piece here, which goes on to that little post in the arm right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. I hope you can. So with that on there, it would be like such. Then we would put on it, for instance, okay, now with the hand, I'm able to spin it. I didn't want to spin it with my little pliers. I don't want to break it. But it spins quite easily, actually. It doesn't stay on very well. I am really curious, now that I know that it spins, I'm really curious if a Hot Toys fist will fit in here, peg. And I can't let this rest. I've got to see. I'm going to give this a little harder tug, see if it actually pulls out, because it spun. It spun easily with the hand on there. I really don't want to break this. No, it's not coming out. I mean, I'm sure it could come out. I'm sure I could pull it out, drill it out, and have a hole in there and stick a peg in it. I just don't feel, I don't feel like breaking my toy. Not yet. I might break it later. I want to break it now. Anyhow, let's get a hand back on him. Can't have him without a hand. Sorry I'm obsessing. Gosh, this is really bothering me. It doesn't stay on very well. I don't like that at all. So it says that this piece comes off. It's under tight. So there you have that. I wonder if there's any differences in these three legs. This is, the name of this company is Sentinel, and they make a lot of re-edit figures. So you can find them on Big Bad Toy Store if you just look them up under Sentinel. They make like a re-edit Captain America, and they make like re-edit Spider-Man or Iron Man's, and I think they made a re-edit Peter Parker and Spider-Man too before this. And they're more, in my opinion, they're more of an artistic license per se. I would look at them and be like, I'm not real interested in the way that came out, and so I'd pass on all of them so far. But when I seen this, I was like, oh, this is dead on, actually. So these look like they're identical, and they feel like plastic. I mean, these are definitely plastic. These are not die cast whatsoever. I wonder if this opens up here. I bet you it does. It does. Little Lobster Claw pincher right there. Missing that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Spidey. So this, in the comics, was made by Tony Stark as well. And in the comics, Tony took it from him as well. So it's definitely a recurring theme. No, I haven't seen a custom Kate Blanchett straight-haired Hela anywhere. And I mean, that surprises me. I thought for a fact there would have been somebody that would have made her by now. And no, I haven't seen nothing. And I would buy it. I would definitely buy that. No doubt about it. Okay, so we got, okay, I'm going to put one of these on here. Just one. So we can figure out all the joints on it. So obviously when you have it in, you have this joint. So you could rotate it in that manner. They look like they're hexagonal to some degree, but I didn't think there were enough to be locking this in, but it definitely does. It definitely locks in, as you can hear it clicking as I spin that. And then from that position, for instance, this joint, you have a left and right. Come on, Peter. Chill, dude. So you have a left and right. Okay, you have this. You have that. You have that. Sheesh. This. Two joints there, actually. One, two. One there. And then this. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, and then what would be 8? 8 joints. That's a lot. 8 times 3 is 24 articulations just in the arms, let alone the body. So this is a highly articulated figure. No doubt about that. You can really go to town on these arms. They got some stretch, and I think that's longer than the Hot Toys arms. Use this third leg here, third arm, to get him to stand upright. Jeez, come on in, man. There you go. Let's see here. Let's get this up so you can see that. You can see that there now. So here's the Iron Spider from Sentinel Re-Edit, and here's the Iron Spider from Hot Toys Fully Extended. I wonder if, let's see something here. Different sizes. Totally different sizes. This is fatter. The Hot Toys one is. And shorter. Here's the head sculpt. And it has like a flat head to it, which is interesting. Um, what's neat is the back of it folds up. So to get him into a looking up pose, that will fold up out of the way. The bottom of it. And because these are red and gold red and orange red instead of the red and blue, I don't believe that a swapped out Spider-Man head would work well on it. And I think the neck is a little long to try to put a Tom Holland head on there. So, in my opinion, for the most part, we really stuck with it being the Iron Spider. What was this also called the Scarlet Spider? For some reason, that's in my mind. I may be wrong. For some reason, I think this was also called the Scarlet Spider. El Pachan, how's it going, man? Don't care for Iron Spider. He looks like Doc Ock. I wish they made Spidey more equal than a Gee Whiz Golly kid. Okay, gotta ask because I won't see it. How was the Stan Lee cameo in Captain Marvel? It was cool. I don't want to ruin it. It's only been out for what, a week now, so I don't want to say it. I don't want to tell you what it is. I want you all to enjoy it. It's a good movie. Go see the movie. I mean, again, I don't care for Brie Larson, and but the movie was a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, and it wasn't the best one by any leaps or bounds, but it definitely wasn't the worst one. There are some slow, boring parts in it. There are some parts that were predictable. There were a lot of parts that were not predictable to me, at least, and I enjoyed the movie. So if you're on the fence as to whether or not seeing it or buying it or waiting for it to come out on Netflix or whatever, I say go do it and see it, no matter. It's a good movie. And the end credit scene, or actually the mid credit scene, is really good. Um, that was that was really good, and the cat really steals the show for the most part. I think Goose is I think probably the parts that I enjoyed the most. I hate to say this, had to do with that stupid cat, and I love cats, and I really enjoyed the cat. So and I was happy to see Stanley. You know, and as far as I'm concerned, with him having a cameo in it, you know that means God touched it, if you will. You know, it's been blessed by the hand of Stan, more or less. You know what I mean? It wasn't a movie made outside of Stan Lee, and it really was a good Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. It stayed within the guidelines of what Kevin Feige's been doing with the last 10 years. It didn't turn into a Star Wars lesson or whatever, you know. So go see the movie. F. Brie Larson, but go see the movie. That's my opinion on that. I also want to look at this Lobster Claw figure stand holder for this. See how this works out. Tesseract. Yeah, there's some things that happened in the movie. Oh, this feels heavy compared to the Hot Toys, or well, the traditional figure stands that are similarly shaped to this. For instance, where's it at? Right here. So here's a Hot Toys diamond figure stand, and this is this one. So it's a little bit smaller. In all areas. It's funny, this actually fits here where the beveled edge is. It actually continues up, so it's smaller by that degree. Isn't that interesting? The hole looks smaller for the figure stand than the Hot Toys one. But this is heavy. I mean, this is just a hollow piece of plastic, two pieces of plastic, top and bottom, with a piece of cardboard on it. This feels like there's something in there. Feels like, and it doesn't feel centered. It feels like, you ever picked up a weight, like a dumbbell or something like that, and you have like a centered in it? This doesn't feel centered. It feels like it's heavier here than it does here. That's interesting. So I imagine then by adding the weight here, the weight of the figure here would give you a center over the middle of it. Because I mean, literally the center of gravity is right around there on this. That's about the center of gravity. If I keep messing with it, I'll get it to balance. But you can see that's not dead center. That's way over on, it's way over on the edge, right there. And there it says, re-edit 1/6 scale Iron Spider. So this Lobster Claw, I've seen something like this before on another. Was it the Ant-Man that opened up last week? So you press up on it here, reaching around Iron Spiders here. Press up on it here to be able to unlock it to spin it into position, and then you would lock it in. So there's good and bad about that. The good is it's not going to be completely pressing in all the time. The bad is it's not going to be completely pressing in all the time. There's only going to be so many different areas you're going to be able to get it squeezed into on that. They have these little rubber sleeves on the hooks to aid in the gripping, and those can be removed, it feels like, should you need or want to. Articulated pose. It looks a lot like the, it looks a lot like the Hot Toys posing stand. Let me figure that out, because I have one right here. A Hot Toys one. Universal, screws right in. So you can either use, for instance, this one, which came with it, or I have a longer one. So because of that being the universal size there, you can use other vans. So that is that. And I'm going to pose him probably the exact same way I had him posed, because it's really his pose that I posed him in. So I will do that again, or at least that's my current thought process. I'm gonna take these arms off again because I want to twist him around, see how posable he really is. There's lots of play here in this suit, which goes back to what I was saying, that if I get bugged so much about the body, I'll just take the suit off. I mean, look at this play here. So there's definitely no binding, which happens in suits like this a lot of times. You have binding, which keeps you from being able to move the suit into, the body into certain positions. We're being stopped by this metal shoulder pad, and it moves out of the way. Look at that. So you can pull those right up. So you can get up to there with that shoulder pad there. And I just pulled it right off. Little ball joint shoulder pad. Double jointed elbow. Two joints there, which is going to be able to give you full on straight back to his chest. Those are the double joints. It's nice. Real nice, actually. You have a articulated chest and an articulated abdomen. His little Spider-Man butt. That head, oh, look at that neck. Look at that. So that's as far as the neck goes back. But then, so the head can be tilted down as such, like that, with the neck up. Okay. And then remember the back of this? See that? And or even, for whatever reason, if you want to give them like a turtle look, you could do that too. Like a vulture. Montgomery Burns. Wondering how far this suit stretches down this leg. Again, I'm not in the mood. I don't feel like destroying my figure. But you can definitely see that the suit does travel down inside the leg to some degree. We have the thigh pivot that goes around that suit. We can get an over 90-degree bend there on that leg. Doesn't go back far, really. That's about as far back as it goes, which isn't very far. Double jointed knee, which I anticipated after seeing the double jointed elbow. So we can get him to kick his own butt, almost. So this flexes up out of the way, moves up out of the way on the knee. You see that? And right here on the ankle as well. See that? The whole little piece moves up out of the way for putting, oh, look at that. With that toe pivot there. Very interesting pose can be created with that. As such. Here's the bottom of his little feet. He's cool. It's very unique. It's definitely, it's not like as if they took a Hot Toys and deconstructed it and created a duplicate. They definitely have their own designers doing their own thing. Let's catch up on some of this chat. Avengers Endgame new trailer Thursday. I will not see it. I will not watch the trailer. I am excited for the pre-orders to start too. I've been checking every single day. I know people don't like Hawkeye's mohawk, but I do so pumped up for Caps. So obviously from the first trailer, I ascertained that Hawkeye is now Ronin. Is that right? Am I right there? Let's see. Hot Toys makes all the versions of the Endgame. A lot of people will be swamped. My guess that suits will be exclusives and their regular suits of normal orders. Interesting. This is made by a company called Sentinel, and they call it their re-edit division of their toys, I guess, or that's what they do. They do Sentinel re-edits, and this one is, in my opinion, dead on to the Ultimate Spider-Man Iron Spider. So that's why I bought it. Spider-Man really was my introduction to comics. That's not true. Okay, so my introduction to comics was actually Superman. And then, of course, Batman. But, and I respected and enjoyed reading them and watching the movies and the television shows and everything that was out. But they were Superman and Batman. And there wasn't anything relatable to them. And then I discovered Spider-Man. And what I really enjoyed about Spider-Man was that, in my opinion, he was totally relatable. he's a geeky little nerdy smart kid that just wanted to be a normal kid who got thrust into the situation. You all know Spider-Man's story; it's been told many times. But that was my guy. That was my comic of choice. The character that I related to the most. And so I really enjoyed when they did the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and when was that, 1999 or 2000? 2000, I think it was. And what a great job they did with that. The only thing I didn't care for the very first Spider-Man was the webbing. They should have been shooters instead of them just coming out of him. So that was my only fault with that movie. My only fault with that movie. But I wasn't collecting Hot Toys when those came out, so I don't have those. But then when Iron Man came out, man, I fell in love with these suits. And I mean, Iron Man's Iron Man. I'm obviously familiar with Iron Man from the comics, but he wasn't like anybody that I associated with. He was kind of like Batman. You know, he's Iron Man, and no doubt about it. And he's cool and all, but there was nothing there. But now Robert Downey Jr., the actor, I related to him. I've watched his career, through the years. And so I thought it was really interesting that he was the one that was playing Tony Stark because, for instance, in Iron Man and Iron Man 2, we see this struggle that Robert Downey Jr., or actually that Tony Stark was going through in regards to alcohol and all the other things that he was having to deal with in his life. Robert Downey Jr. went through similar struggles. And it was almost like, where is that line separate those two people? Where does Robert Downey Jr. end and Tony Stark begin? And he really brought him to life, and I could relate to that. And I really enjoyed these suits, and that's what really got me into Hot Toys was the Iron Man suits. So now that Spider-Man is back, more or less, and Sony decided to be smart about this and to go full on, handshake, we'll do whatever Marvel Cinematic Universe wants to, and they're working along with that. Sheesh, I can't help but to collect these. And so when I seen this, I was like, yeah, that's straight from the comics, and I love this figure. I couldn't pass on it. That's all there is to it. And so that's why I got this, and it's 1/6 scale, and I'm digging it. Really pleased with this. If it weren't for the skinniness, just too skinny. I mean, if he doesn't look natural, does that make any sense? So that's my only thought on that, if that helps at all. War Machine's in game got multiple suits. I did see that. I did see there's multiple suit pictures. Part 5, 6 War Machine. Is it really does it go up to 6 now? Because it was 4, wasn't it, in Infinity War? And it looks like there's 3 of them from the pictures that I've seen. I haven't watched the trailer. It looks like there's 3 of them in the pictures that I've seen. Maybe it's a 5, 6, and 7. I always have special place for OG soups. Yeah, man. Superman is Superman. You can't argue Superman because he's Superman. It says everything. You know what I mean? Is he the most powerful superhero in all the universes, Marvel, DC, everyone else that's involved? No, he's not. He is very powerful. Captain Marvel from the Marvel Cinematic Universe could probably take him. Hulk, I think, can take him. So he's not the most badass, but he is Superman. That's all I can say about that. Just like Batman. Batman's Batman. He's a gadgeteer, but he's also a genius. And he's also like a martial arts expert. So, I mean, you're not going to outthink him, and you're not going to kick his ass. And he's got the gadgets to make any kind of suit. And when he goes to battle you, he's already planned everything out. He's already figured out exactly how you're going to act. So if you're going up against Batman, you're in trouble because he's already got your ass kicked. It's like playing chess. His end game is already figured out by the time he meets you. The only way you're going to beat Batman is if you catch him off guard. He doesn't know you're coming and he knows nothing about you. That's the only way you beat Batman. So, I don't have any DC figures, I don't believe. Not because I have a problem with DC. just because I can't collect everything. It's like why reason I don't have Star Wars or Star Trek even. Oh, I love Star Trek, and they make some amazing figures right now. And I really want to be able to collect those as well, and just can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. You know, with the expense that these are, you have to stick to something and go from there. You know what I mean? Which answers a question that a lot of new collectors ask. I remember when I first started buying the figures, I didn't realize that the 1/6 scale community was so huge. And I was like, oh, look at this. Here's a such and such, and maybe I'll get that. And I was thinking, if you just bought things that you don't have any connection to, it's money wasted. So buy the figures that you have a connection with and enjoy your figures. And if it's a figure that you enjoy, even after it sits on the shelf for a year, two, three, one of these days you'll look back on it, you'll pick it up, and all that first impression, that love for that figure comes right back to you, as you guys know. Like Heartbreaker was really one of the first ones that I bought. I think he was the first one that I bought, and he almost holds that special favorite figure because of that. And like the Mark 24, exact same figure. He almost holds that favorite figure. I probably have figures that I like more, probably, but that Heartbreaker holds a special place. Marty is my first one. So Superman and Batman will always be there too. Yep, I'm glad to see James Gunn is back. Tony Stark and Jack Sparrow will be great drinking buddies. Oh man, and they've definitely moved away from Tony's alcohol problem and his womanizing problems and all of the little demons that he was having to deal with. They totally just left that. First two Iron Men, and then no more. We've seen him having a drink in Avengers, but I don't think he seems to have any problem with anything anymore. It's just, his brain rot from Avengers, the post traumatic stress disorder it seems like he's been going through after detonating that nuclear missile up there at the ships that were invading Earth. So that's the only demon that he seems to be dealing with. Like, for instance, Jack Sparrow. Johnny Depp owned that figure, that character. That was another one that really seemed to be hand in hand. Where does Johnny Depp end and Jack Sparrow begin? You know, Sometimes actors are too good. You know what I mean? Where you have a difficulty in separating the two of them. When I see Robert Downey Jr., sometimes Tony Stark is what comes to my mind, and vice versa. Same thing with Jack Sparrow. I see Jack Sparrow, and I'll say Johnny Depp, and vice versa. The line is so blurred because they owned it. For instance, someone was telling me that Brie Larson was an amazing actress because she won an Oscar for her movie The Room, and I was thinking, if you win an Oscar, that means you're like the best of the best, like Men in Black, the best of the best of the best. You won an Oscar. No, nobody else did any job better than the way you did it when you did what you did to earn that. She did not give an Oscar winning performance in Captain Marvel. So I don't want to hear that she won an Oscar and that's why she deserved to be in Captain Marvel. Hey, I wasn't sold. Not sold one bit by her performance in Captain Marvel. So, my opinion on that. Predator beat the Batman in first meeting. Well, yeah, because I suppose Batman didn't know that much about the Predator. I don't know. I didn't see that. Hot Toys hasn't released anything in over a month now. It's getting ridiculous. Well, I can say that every year, February is the dry month. And we have in-game coming up. And they probably have a gag order on Hot Toys right now. You know what I mean? They don't want to reveal too much. So the only thing I seen was, I think it was Lego or somebody was showing some things that looked pretty interesting. So I think that might be what it is. I don't know if we'll get figures before the Endgame movie comes out, but I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of figures. I mean, they're not even done with Infinity War yet. They're not even done with Black Panther yet. Yeah, catch up time, some wallet cooling off time. Yeah, Terrence Howard. I was watching on an interview with him, and I kind of got the impression, and I don't remember what the wording was, but I kind of got the impression that he wasn't what they wanted in the first place. He was really just filling in the blanks. And I love Terrence Howard, and I didn't know that he was just filling in the blanks. But there was an interview that I watched, and I think that was pretty much what he was saying, that he wasn't what they wanted in the first place, and I think that they already had spoken to Don Cheadle about that. So um, I'd have to watch that interview again. I've seen it years ago, but I think, if I remember correctly, I hope I'm not spreading something that's not true. I'm almost positive that Terrence Howard wasn't supposed to be anything other than just that first movie. It was just a placeholder for it. And Edward Norton, from my understanding, Edward Norton did not want to continue being Bruce Banner. Um, but the Edward Norton Hulk is Marvel Cinematic Universe canon. That is our Hulk. The Ang Lee Hulk, I don't think that they consider that canon. Was the general in the first Ang Lee Hulk? Is it the same general that played in that one too? You know, with the, what was his name, Abomination, or whatever that was that they had made. Is that the same general? Yeah, that was what Lego is showing. And geez, I don't know what I think about that. I really want them to do the Black Order, and that's going to be a big figure because he's bigger than Hulk. What's his name? The they got the four Black Orders. The only one that they've shown us so far is what, Corvus Glaive. Yeah, Lego. If you want a secret not to be kept, tell Lego. Every they I don't know if they think that just because they don't really look like it, they can get away with sneaking them out there. We don't miss things like that. You know, it's funny. There was a picture posted of a building that had fallen down, and when someone showed it to me, I didn't see the building that had fallen down. I seen the yellow Bumblebee Camaro. I'm like, oh, look at that yellow Bumblebee Camaro that the building fell on. And they're like, you didn't see the building? Well, I seen the building, but look at that Camaro. You know, we as collectors or people who are tuned into these things, we see a little Lego figure and we're like, we know exactly what it is. Yeah, get Lego blabbermouth, definitely. Different general. So it was a different general from in Ang Lee's Hulk. Yeah, because I'm almost Cold Obsidian. Yeah, that's the only one that's been Cold Obsidian. That's the one that's been announced, right? But no, Cold Obsidian is the big guy, right? One that's like the size of Hulk is Cold. He's bigger than Hulk. Yeah, I want one of those. I want all the Black Order. But yeah, I don't think Ang Lee is considered canon. I know for a fact Edward Norton is canon. The Edward Norton character. The Edward Norton Hulk is canon. But from my understanding, Edward Norton didn't want to continue the contract. So, guys, I think I'm done here. Um, I'm gonna cut you guys loose. Thank you very much for stopping in with me today. I really enjoy spending time with every one of you. I love all you guys, and I love interacting with you. And the messages that you send me, as you know, I respond to everything, and I answer all your questions and anything you want or need. Just let me know. And I don't have any figures coming currently. I'm still working on my Kid Pool Deadpool, so maybe I'll have him done by next week. And got a couple other ideas of some things that I'm doing, but it's about where I'm at. If nothing else, maybe I'll give you a room tour or something next week if I can't figure anything else out to do. Probably the biggest problem with Captain Marvel, in my opinion, is the writer directors didn't have any action movie experience. And that's important when doing an action movie. And it's not an action movie like Fast and the Furious action movie or a full on Karate Kid style action movie or whatever. It's an action movie, superhero action movie. And that was, you know, when your superhero becomes the superhero, you want to be so pumped up and excited and waiting for it that when it happens, you want to be like, yeah, get in there and kick some butt, go get them. About time you suited up, it's about time you fired up. It's about time that, Superman's eyes are turning red and he's shooting the lasers out. Go get him and get the bad guy. And there wasn't that in Captain Marvel. The moment that should have been, the moment that when Captain Marvel became, I should have been sitting on the edge of my seat saying, hell yeah. And it never happened. And that's because of poor writing and directing. So that is the real big fault with the movie. There were some slow parts. There was story that probably didn't need to be told. Who really cares about some of the story? There are some parts of the story that I think they really screwed the canon up, and I think they kind of messed with a little bit of what the Marvel Cinematic Universe canon is as well. I don't remember exactly. I need to go back and have a look at that. But it was because they just didn't have the experience. And that was originally my fear of the movie. So when I seen Captain Marvel was first being talked about, and when I seen who was going to be writing and directing it, I was like, jeez. I hope they don't ruin it. I hope they don't make it a blah, boring story. That was my initial fear for it. I didn't fear about anything else. I wasn't fearing for it with Star Wars fear. I wasn't fearing for it with DC Universe, Extended Universe fear. I was just fearful of it not being a very good action movie. And then all the drama started. And then it became that fear that became an issue with me, that I was afraid, geez, now it's going to be just like Star Wars. And so I'm pleased to see that that didn't happen. But my initial original fear, that manifests itself. And that is my biggest complaint, truthfully, about Captain Marvel. So go see it, and that's all I can say about that. I don't get any money if you guys go see Captain Marvel. It doesn't make a hill of beans to me, truthfully, if you go see it. I'm just saying, I'm just letting you guys know that to hopefully calm any nervousness or thoughts that you might have that it's a bad movie, because it's not. It's not a good movie. I mean, it's not a great movie. It's a good movie, but it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. So that's all I can say about that. I'm not going to ruin it for you. Yeah, I don't care for Brie Larson. Not at all. Yeah, I think it's probably. I don't know. I think it's probably too late for that. I don't think that they would do that. They have, obviously, as we were just talking about, Edward Norton and Terrence Howard, but I don't think that they would do that. She got paid from my understanding, she got $5 million to be Captain Marvel. 5 million. Robert Downey Jr. got like $500,000 to be Iron Man the first time. I think Chris Hemsworth got even less to be Thor. Jeez, 5 million. Yeah, Gal Gadot did a great job. And I heard that was a good movie. I never seen the Wonder Woman movie. I heard it was a really good movie. The only DC Extended Universe movie that I've seen was Aquaman. And that had a hell yeah moment in it. When he came up in his gold shirt and green pants, I was like, hell yeah. And so I enjoyed Aquaman. It was a good movie. I heard Wonder Woman is good. I've not seen it. And I've not seen, like I said, I've not seen any of the other DC Extended Universe movies. So I have no opinion on them, good or bad. So I guess I'm going to let you guys go. I actually have a car show to go to. I'm taking my Bumblebee Camaro to a car show today. The weather is beautiful, and I enjoy showing my car off. People enjoy seeing my car. It's I've done a couple videos on my car. If you guys are longtime viewers, you kind of know about that. And So I will see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in, and happy collecting. See you on the next video.